Okay, everything should be working. So hello everyone, let me adjust the camera. So hello everyone, today I will be doing another stream, and the streams I think should get much more regular from now on, because I sorted a lot of things in the work, so I will be able to focus a bit more on the streams and everything. So the last time I have done this guy, it was a stalker, I guess. It was supposed to be red, it turned out like bluish silverish, and it kind of looks a little bit more like a hidden one, I guess. So maybe it will be like a hidden one later, but for today, why it is duplicated? Okay, because it's combined. But for today, I will be doing a Slayer. So basically this bull-like demon with wings and stuff. So let me hit those guy, this guy, and everything. And is the screen centered? Transform. Center on screen. Now it's centered. Okay, so yeah, basically it will be like a buff dude. I have done one of this type of a monster already. Previously, I guess it was a guardian, and why I really like them is because they have double jointed legs, and I always liked monsters that have double jointed legs, and also they are quite hard to draw, so it's fun. Where is my brush? Also a really funny thing is that after like 3 months, after Photoshop decided to like delete every single brush that I have, basically like it deleted everything. After 3 months, when I opened a file from my another computer, it decided to turn on the previous Photoshop application that I had no idea I have installed, and it brought back every single brush that I lost, and it basically brought back every single setting that I had previously. So I have no idea why it worked, but yeah, sometimes you just have to wait for everything, and basically it will happen. So what I want to do with this guy is to kinda show that he is massive. I really want to like emphasize the fact that he has like gigantic shoulders, gigantic back, that basically everything about him is like huge and humongous. So I guess I will try to make a little bit more different approach than usual. I will go a little bit more sketchier at the beginning. I will explore the silhouette and the shapes and everything a bit more, since a lot of the guys that I have done for this challenge are, I guess, quite stiff, and I don't really like it. So yeah. Also some sounds from Twitch happened, but I have turned off every widget and everything that I had, so I have no idea what actually happened. Because once I had a situation when someone gifted like fake subs or something like this. I have no idea if it was like, I had no idea it is even possible. So yeah. But I had this like the Arcane talking, stay a while and listen and everything, and after like hearing it for the 5th time, I was like, holy shit, it's too much. It's way too much. So I don't know the sounds of Twitch. But yeah, hopefully I will learn them one day. Yeah, and also for these guys, what is really cool about them, that they are pretty much just a bunch of muscle, and if the monster is basically muscle, it's really fun to draw them, because like there is something to draw actually. If you are drawing a monster that's like really skinny, or like just this skinny fat type of a thingy, it's really hard to draw them because there's not much definition in them. And with the muscles, if a monster has a lot of muscles on him, it's basically much easier to draw. So this time I will go much more like messy on the lines. Hello. I try to do a stream every like week or so, like every Monday and Monday, Thursday, Wednesday. But recently I had like quite a lot of things to do because I was transitioning from freelance to full-time job. And because of this, I was really irregular with the streams. So now it won't be a case anymore. Now I will stream much more regularly. So most likely it will be like every Monday, the same hour, and every Wednesday, same hour also. And maybe a little bit more days. I will need to see how much like I will be able to stream with the job at the moment. So I don't know if a lot, but maybe at one point I will be streaming much more. I always like the idea of drawing and everything on stream, so since it motivates me, and it kind of allows other to see how I work, which is also fine because I will do it anyway, so maybe someone will be able to learn a thing or two, which is always a good thing. I kind of like this like dominant pose that he is like looking from below. Maybe he will actually be like rotated a bit. In the past, I always really liked to have a lot of clean lines. Like when I was drawing, I always liked to have like the clean lines and everything. But recently, when I started doing like a little bit more of drawing, I kind of rediscovered the fact that I really like to keep things messy at the beginning because it kind of allows me a bit better to search for the interesting shapes and everything, and later kind of clean it up. So for example, with the hand, I will go extremely ugly. Like I want this arm to kind of go like back. I want him to be kind of like bloated. So I want him to have a gut, like a solid gut of muscles and everything. So this way, later when I will clean this up, I will feel that I actually have much more control over it, because I will know what lines I like, what lines I don't like. And since this guy is pretty like huge, it's, as I said, it's basically like a mountain of muscles. I kinda want him to be a little bit more like in a square. So most likely I will kinda hide the wings instead of like showing them. Like maybe they won't be opened completely, but they will be like more like in the back, something like this. But yeah, we will see. And I really like the head of this guy, since it basically looks like a bull, but I really like the idea of him having like this massive ass forehead with this massive ass horns, which is really cool for a monster. And a really cool thing about the horns that I kinda like discovered after like a bit of years of drawing, if you are going to draw like a horn for a demon, instead of like going for something like this, if you want to go with this like the smooth type of a horn, so instead of going with like this and well connecting into the head, just try to go with something like this. So there will be like this thinner part of a horn, then connect this part to the head. So it will kind of add this additional level of detail, and it usually looks a bit cooler. So yeah, just like a small tip. It kind of also allows you to create like stuff like this. So like a small horn on a horn, and between the others stuff. So it might look a little bit more demonic. Wait. Also, if anyone has any questions whatsoever about like any topic, feel free to ask them. If anyone is like new in here, welcome. I'm not really often in here, but I will try to be a bit more often in here. So yeah. If you hold something like this, then the oh yeah, no problems. Like I'm really open to every like pretty much type of question. For me, it was I pretty much always I have been drawing for like always as far as I remember. This is the first thing. I always liked drawing when I was like a small kid with a friend of mine. We were playing Diablo for like way too many hours, and I always wanted to work for Diablo and everything. And this was kind of like my drive for like pretty much forever to draw, to like keep drawing. While I was around the age of 13, I guess, I took my first art classes in like the Palace of Culture. It's like a building in Gdańsk in Poland where I live. And it was pretty much the shittiest class I have ever had, like looking back at it, like from the perspective now, because they taught me nothing. I only got some like bad habits out of from there, and basically it was like a waste of time. But I went there for like a month or 2 months or something like this. Then I was going to the math physical classes, the physics and everything for like a high school, I guess. And after high school, I went for like a semester to study architecture. I always thought that I want to be an architect. And earlier, I was learning in Domin at Warsaw workshop. So basically, it's like a private drawing course, something like this. Then I decided to go to study architecture. After a semester of architecture, I decided it's completely not for me, and I dropped out. And a friend of mine told me to go to study industrial design at Academy of Fine Arts. What is kind of funny because I always thought that Academy of Fine Arts is lame, and there's no way I'm going to go there since I want to study architecture. And I graduated after 5 years in masters with industrial design. So yeah, basically this is like my story. And while doing all this, I was also teaching at the same school where I was learning previously, but in the building in Gdańsk, in like my city where I do live. So my formal education is Masters in Industrial Design in Visual Communication Cathedral. My bachelor was in the naval design and experimental design because I was doing like a mecha design into workshops, I guess you could say, something like this. So yeah, basically this is it. And I graduated 2 years ago, and now I'm pretty much full-time artist. I was working as a freelancer for, I don't know, 7 years or something like this. But as I said, now I'm putting an end to like full freelance and I'm going full-time. Soon I will be able to tell in which company. I hope I will be able to tell, but yeah, this is pretty much all. Nothing too fancy, I guess. So nothing out of the ordinary. And in the meanwhile, I tried to be a tattoo artist, but after doing like 5 to 10 tattoos, I decided, nah, it's not for me. Like it's fun and dandy and everything, it's cool. Like I like tattoos and everything, but yeah, it's not for me. Hello, Nicholas. Arnold. And also in the same school with Nicholas, we had like a party together. And I had problems in my workplace back then after the party. Hello, Philip. And with Philip, I attended the advanced environmental design, also with Nicholas too, at Focal Point in Gdańsk, Poland, where I had to I had to redo like 2 projects for my college, for the Academy of Fine Arts, and try to deliver every single thing for Focal Point, which is fine, and it was fun. Yeah. I only remember after that party that my head was really hurting. It was like, from the health perspective, it was a terrifying experience. Yeah, the wings. I always had problems with drawing wings. Like the geometry of wings, I don't know why it's really hard to process for me. And I always had problems to draw like a cool looking wings, like with all those flaps and everything that basically looked cool. It was always a problem. And it's kind of funny because it's not even like that hard of a geometry, I would say. It's just basically like a bent plane, but and for this guy, I guess I will be also dividing him into 2 parts. So like one part will be drawing him, and the second part I will be like painting him and everything. I don't think I'm a good person to answer about good habits in digital drawing. Like, remember you are drawing in digital. This is, I guess, the most important one, and that you can do much more than in traditional drawing. So, like, never shy from using the, never shy from cheating in digital arts, because basically Photoshop allows you to. So just do it. I need a reference for like a cool axe or something like this. Cool giant axe. But if you learn how to paint traditionally, then digital will be much easier for you. Halloween giant school axe. This is very Diablo-esque like. Let me search for something else. This one actually looks like an axe from Diablo 1. Soon I will search for it. This one too. It looks like a Messerschmitt Raver. It's Diablo 1 Unique Access. Let me find it, because it is a really cool looking axe. And oh yeah, this is this one. Yeah, so it's basically, this one looks like an extremely cheap version of this one. And this axe is extremely cool. I always liked this one. And there is a Messerschmitt Raver, so it's not really that similar, but it is kind of similar. Like, it's just a nice axe. It's kind of funny because now when I look at them, they really look like they're from Diablo 3 or Diablo. Yeah, basically like they're from Diablo 3. They are really similar indeed. And also, if you are a lame, like I am, with the perspective of some things like bent axes and everything. Yeah, but I like to have like everything on one canvas. Like, I don't really like to depend on any additional software. I always preferred to have like everything in one place and to like not care about opening a pure ref or something like this. It's fine if someone likes it, Just more power to them. I never liked it. I always just straight up preferred to have everything in one document. Because when I learned the trick, this is like actually the game changer for, it was a game changer for me. Like, if not for this trick, I would be like dying. If you press, let me go to the full screen mode, not a full screen mode. If you go with V, this letter, and then you press Control, as you can see on the top left corner, the auto select is going on. So basically, if you click on a layer, as you can see, it switches instantly to the layer where you are drawing or painting. And when I learned this, I never needed to use anything other than that. And if you press on a layer, for example, something like this, and press Ctrl Shift and the square bracket, top one or bottom one, it will bring the layer to the top or to the bottom. If you just press Ctrl and square bracket left, it will go up and down. So basically, after learning this, navigated in Photoshop became like extremely easy. Even if you have like a fuckload of layers, and I usually do. Usually I have like something like this layers. So I never wanted to crowd the screen even more with more stuff. I kind of want to give this guy something like the axe with a skull. Since this is like the higher demon, I guess, so I can imagine the hellish armory actually invest into those guys a bit. Yeah, and the Photoshop already decided to freeze the screen on me. So let me save that guy and let me reopen it. Boom. And what I am doing right now is I am just scribbling the axe. And I am scribbling it because soon I will like distort the axe, and I will simply... Do I want to give him like double-headed axe? Nah. It will be an axe with like a spike. Stuff like this. And with a heavier back. So it will look like it is balanced a bit more. And if you are like you just demon like this guy, you don't really care about the weapon being like properly, like having a properly distributed weight, because you will basically brute force through it. But what I like is the fact that the original one is a bit more compact. Maybe with something, oh, okay, with something like this. This thing looks sexy. Yeah, and what I will do now is I will remove the other axes because I do not need them. I will take the axe, I will take the balrog in here, take the axe, and convert it to a smart object, because now I can do something like this, and then enter the transformation and it will remember how I did it. And simply, I will put the axe in his hand, rotate it the way I want him to hold it, and I will adjust the perspective of it. So long story short, this is pretty much the long story short. This is pretty much everything you need to know about this technique. But why is cool? Because as you can see, I do not really need to worry about like the complex geometry in the perspective. Since I want to keep like the horizon level around this height, if you go to the transformation, I have no idea how I actually can. Let me try to take a screenshot of it. Let me place it in here. So what I want to do is more or less with those lines to be in the point of the horizon line. Not really like completely perfectly, because like I missed a bit in here, but I don't really care that much. It will look more or less fine. And the hand of this guy should actually be much bigger. And now what I also need is to take a reference for the hand. And with axe. The easiest thing that you can do is to actually take your own photo. And I will do just this. So let me grab a phone. And let me grab a dumbbell. Okay. This is also why these guys come in handy, because you can pretty much create your own reference in no time, which is a real lifesaver, because sometimes searching in a web, I might also try to flex, so maybe I will get some information about the muscles, but after like month of not attending a gym, okay, my biceps look like a disaster. So let me send the photo. And also I will show you a little neat thing that I observed with actually using the references. And why it's always wise to use references. It looks like I have a torn bicep, to be honest. And not. Yeah. But the thing that is really cool is the fact that I kind of forgot about the fact that he is kind of like pointing forward, like this weapon. So instead of the weapon like having an ellipse like this, basically it's not a cylinder being visible like this. It will be a bit more like this. So the top part should be much heavier, like visually, instead of like how it is right now. So I should not actually collapse everything as I already did. I will need to kind of like readjust it. And if you are readjusting something, the good idea is to like rotate it vertically, then apply transformation, because then you get like this nice square for transforming everything. And then I want to kind of like adjust everything. And if it will change the perspective, nah, I don't really care that much. Again, the fact is most likely it will look much better. And now if I do not really like a certain curve, because I don't really like the curve of this axe anymore, I will like readjust it with warp to make it a bit more like top heavier. And if I don't like it still, I will draw over it. And the also cool thing that you can do if you are using some references like I did just right now, it's not like a perfect fit, but it is like close enough, is the Liquify tool. Unfortunately, since I'm sharing the Photoshop screen, you cannot see the Liquify screen tool, but what it basically allows me to is to like modify the outlines and everything. So if anyone will come to the stream like right now and somehow they will miss like the previous information that I have said, maybe they will think I am massive, because if I do this right, boom, look how swole I am. And now I am a proper reference, because the basic idea is the muscle basically is the same. Like even if you are like really huge, the muscle structure is basically the same, the main muscle shape. Of course, it will have a much more definition and everything, but even if you are like extremely skinny, it won't mean that, like for example, if I would take a photo of my stomach, like I don't have ripped abs, but you can see something happening in there. So if I would just enlarge it, like by using Liquify, I am perfectly fine with it. And it will like serve okay as a reference, because now I still can see what happens in here, how the muscles connect and everything. I will just make him much more shredded, because why not? If you can make like your monster shredded, then do it. But also remember that he will still like most likely retain some fat tissue somewhere. So it's not necessarily that he needs to be shredded everywhere. I actually think a lot of artists forget that fat is a thing, and they often like really overlook it. So yeah. So it's good to sometimes like soften up some forms with the fat. And now this is why I always like to use references for hands, because hands are just hard to draw. Hands are just hard. So if you are using a reference, life is easier. And drawing hands is much more like pleasant. Especially if this is like a huge demon hand. And this one won't have claws. He would have like this short. Nah, he will have claws. Like the cool looking ones. I would say the basic sketch kinda done. I'm not really sold on this shape of an axe, to be honest. I'm not sure if I won't prefer like the birded axe. Something like brutal like this, like simple huge axe. Nah. Let me leave it as it was. Just refine the shape of it a bit. The thing is with this axe, like with the curves and everything, it really nicely fits those shapes on the horns. It's not necessarily means that you have to do it like this, because it's not like a rule, but if you have something like this happen and something like this happen, it's always a nice thing to have. And especially since he has like a lot of like this shapes, this arches and everything, then having like a consistent shape language on the entire sketch, I think is a good idea. Yeah. So let me just grab only the reference to refine the geometry, and I have still Blender on for I have no idea how many hours. So let me turn off the Blender and let me go for a demon. Yours. So like the best reference for like huge demons or like ripped monsters is as always Hafthorn Bjornsson, because he is huge and he has like a physique like a demon. He does not look human, especially now, 2021, because now Hafthorn is training for like the fight with Eddie Hall, and now he is huge and he is shredded, so he is 10 times more terrifying, I would say. Oh, there's a cool photo of him. So yeah, and basically if you just like slap wings, it's like it's the same picture. So yeah, and even if you have something like this, so I sometimes do this, I recolor the reference because nobody can tell me I cannot do it. So I also get a really natural looking red tones, red hues. So let me increase the saturation, and boom, all of a sudden I have like a perfect reference for the colors, for the demon, with the backlight and everything and whatnot. So I will simply like recolor him, increase the colors, and even though the background is slightly like changing, it does not really matter that much. It's basically like a perfect fit, perfect match for the colors. So there you have it. If you don't know how to use references, you can use them like this, or at least this is how I do it. This area, the armpit area, I need to find a reference for it, because this is something that always gave me troubles, like always gave me a lot of troubles. Punch, but since this is kind of like the reference that I want to find is kind of like a punching movement, I might be able to find a photo where, for example, Thor is striking and it's like facing the front of the camera. So basically, if I would have like this photo but rotated, it will be like a perfect match. It will be like a perfect fit. Oh, I found a good photo, but it is Eddie Hall and he is in the shirt. I actually could go with Eddie Hall because he also has like a freakish physique. So it's not necessarily like the same pose, but I can get the idea how this area behaves. Maybe Eddie Hall punch. Maybe Hall punch. Maybe it will actually show the exact pose. I guess on the YouTube, if I will just go to the YouTube and search for it briefly, then I would find it in a no time, in like a video or something like this. But yeah, let me spend like 2 more minutes searching for reference. Meanwhile, if you have any questions, feel free to ask. And then if I don't find the reference, I will simply try to like brain force it. Oh, okay. I do have a photo. It's not the perfect one, but it is a really close one. It's not exactly the same reference, but it is close. It is close enough that I might use it. So yeah, it's not the best resolution, but I don't honestly care that much, because if I am going to use references, I just want the general shape to be visible, not like a detailed shape. So let me color the layer. Let me reduce the opacity to like 15%. Let me reduce the opacity to 100, connect 15%. And now it's time to draw him. How to choose the correct pose of character. It's really hard, in my opinion, at least for me, because I suck at posing. I never like had, I would say, the great imagination for poses, but the basic idea that I have is, if the character is strong, show him in a strong stance. If the character is weak, show it in a pose that looks weak. So you can imagine yourselves like standing, like curling, like inside, having your shoulders down and everything. If you like are a weak person, if you are like afraid, you will have like hands covering your face and everything. If you are strong, you basically will have like your chest out, like shoulders down, and everything basically will be visible. As you can see, for example, as Eddie does it, he do not look like a weak person in here. This is not a pose of a weak person. So basically try to imagine how you expect someone who is strong to stand. So this is like the basic idea. And then there is practice. If you don't practice drawing, then the theory do not pretty much matter, because you will still not be able to draw what you want. So for the practice, I would say going for the line of action. Let me write it down here somewhere. Line of action.com, I guess, or quick poses. And just study the term of gesture, gestura, drawing. And basically, if you will do these a lot, after like a week, you will get a depression, because it basically proves that you cannot draw. It's always like this. But if you will actually train them and you will survive the depression part, you will see that you will improve in no time with your posing and everything, just with the idea of sketching the poses and whatnot. As I said, for a really long period of time, I still do have some problems with poses and everything, because I really care a lot about the geometry and everything, and I'm trying to kind of get rid of like caring too much about it right now. But if you will like train with this, actually posing your characters is much easier, and do not get caught in too many details at the beginning. So the basic idea is go really rough with the poses and see if you like it. So for example, if I were to draw a character, like the most basic pose, for example, I want to draw a warrior, I would go with something like this. Legs like tall, arms down. This is like a kind of brave pose, one could say. If I would go with someone who is like old, I would go with something like this. So it looks old, basically. And even if they have like this stick or something like this. If I were to go with someone who is like tricky or sneaky, I would maybe go with stuff like this. So you don't necessarily know what they are going to do. So they are like sneaking. Yeah, it's not the best pose, but you get the idea, I guess. But yeah, just go with the basics. And actually drawing stuff like this, like doing this like really shitty small sketches, is a great exercise, because if you are able to capture the most basic feeling of a pose in a stickman, in like this most basic stickman, then there is a huge chance you will actually manage to catch the like the same pose in on a bigger scale. So just try to catch the pose on the smallest scale first, and then try to like go bigger with it, if you are struggling, of course, with those type of drawings. And for this guy, I want to go with this like massive forehead, because I want him to have like this huge horns. So the forehead of this guy will be extremely big. And since this is like a bull demon, you cannot have like a bull demon without the nose ring. This is like a must-have. If you are if you are close to resemble a bull, you have to have a nose ring. And what is really actually cool about drawing characters and everything in the work actually right now that I'm doing, they really force me to draw a lot of those type of thingies. And recently I have been doing quite a lot of freelance with characters, so I feel much more like not maybe good with them, but much more confident while drawing them, which is really cool, especially for the rest of the challenge, since Still, there are like, I have no idea how many, but quite a lot of monsters to draw. And it is cool to actually see and feel improvement. Give this kind of like this huge teeth. So if you are like an ugly ass demon, then you can have mouth like this. I kind of want him to scream a bit more, like to have this like raw type of a facial expression. So let me just warp it a bit more into like something like this. Also, if you are like a monster with huge ass like fangs and everything, I can imagine you cannot move like your mouth really that much. So the cheekbone to be a bit lower, this cheekbone to be a bit more prominent. Yep. And always, if you are drawing something, remember from time to time to like flip your canvas, like horizontally or vertically or however, because it is always a good idea to view your drawing in a different perspective. So if you are drawing a lot in like one setup, at some point your brain will get so used to like seeing the same stuff like constantly, you will forget, you will basically stop seeing mistakes and everything. So if this does happen to you, just rotate your screen. Most likely it will help. Uh, it was fine. I was in a first edition ever of the classes, so everything was a bit deorganized at the time. And my general impression was Darek and Michał had a really like they had a lot of ideas, but were still not sure how to like put it into actual work. So it was kind of wonky, but in the end, it was really fun. The problem with it was I actually, as I said, had to like redo some classes in Academy of Fine Arts because I was studying back then also. So I couldn't like completely go all in into the classes. I had to like retake some, had to make some designs and everything for the school and whatnot. So I couldn't like spend all my time. I had no, not how to say it. Um, I wish I had more time to do the classes. Since it was advanced environmental design, from the knowledge point of view, I wouldn't say I learned that much because I discovered a lot of knowledge that they were like sharing. Actually, it's extremely similar to the things that I had in school. So, like, just generally the design approach to everything is really similar. So, it was worth it for me from the standpoint of verifying my knowledge that it is actually used. Like the same knowledge is basically used uh, in the industry. And I met a lot of cool friends, what was actually the best part of the entire course. So yeah, overall I would say if you have like money to spend and you want to like learn some cool tricks and you want to learn new, you want to meet some cool people, just go there. It will be worth it. But make sure that you really have like 6 or 8 weeks, I don't remember how long the classes are, of like time to basically go all out. Then you will learn much, much more. I can easily say if I had the time available for the entire 8 weeks, it will be totally different experience. It was really good, but it was not as good as it could be because of like the lack of time, as I said. So yeah. But overall, they know what they are doing. And as far as I know, as far as I like hear people talk and like just basically share stuff, it's only getting better and better. So it's really cool. And what is also really cool is the fact that they are like in Gdańsk, in the city where I live now, than it was in Gdynia, basically a city next to me. So I also like, had relatively close to the courses. Yeah, but it was fine. I really enjoyed the time that I had in there. Definitely the introduction classes, as far as I know, are really good. I don't know if Laszlo is still in here, but Laszlo is one of the guys that was attending the classes also with me. Also the Nicholas and Philip were there, and but I feel like then the Laszlo, the Adam made like the biggest progress out there. So yeah, if they are still here, maybe we'll be able to ask some questions. But generally, like to sum it up, 100 worth it. If you have money, just go for it. Just be prepared to like really work your ass off. It's not like a course for like faint-hearted or however to say it. You need to be willing to put in the work. Pretty much go all in with everything that you do. But yeah, if you have any other questions, feel free to ask. Or any specific type of questions, I will maybe be able to help or answer with them, to them. And the kind of funny part with the focal point also is the fact that I was talking with Darek about all the guys that are going to courses and everything, and that they are not finishing their like final like task and everything and whatnot. That it's basically like kind of money waste. And I did exactly that. I still have not finished my final task, and I did it back then because, as I said, I really had no time to finish it properly. And the second part is it was so out of anything that like basically interests me, because it was like purely a vehicle design, and I never really liked designing vehicles. And it was an alien planet or something like this, which is kind of okay, but it's also not like my top favorite tasks. And after like talking to him, yeah, you need to be like a really lame person to go to a course and not finish the course and everything. I did exactly that. And I still have like in the back of my head that one day I have to do this artwork, because actually it is still bothering me. So yeah, but yeah, it was fun. Right now, if I would go there, I guess I would approach it differently. That also kind of depends what you want to achieve, to be honest. This is like the biggest question, because not necessarily everybody needs those type of classes. As I said, those type of things are also really great to just get connections and everything. So maybe it will be even more beneficial to just go for some like online courses and everything, just buy tutorials out of from Gumroad or whatnot, and just study them really thoroughly. I think this is like the term to say it, and then go to a course, because the more you will know how to do stuff from other artists, the better you will be able to like utilize their knowledge on the site. So actually, before like now enrolling into like the advanced environmental design course, I guess I would go first through like many tutorials to just learn the software, to like increase my knowledge in Blender, to like learn some new stuff. Yeah, basically with things like this. Coming back a little bit more about the demon that I am drawing. If sometimes you want to like indicate a form, but not necessarily you want to like draw it, so I don't want to like connect the muscle in here and in here. Sometimes drawing like several lines to just like suggest that something is happening in there, but it's not necessarily defined, that you want to kind of like suggest the forms, the wrapping around the form. Might be fun. To be honest, I'm not really sure how to like draw this area. It's always strong anatomy. I kind of need to find a reference for this area. There is this cool book, Strength Anatomy, I guess, Anatomy of Strength, or something like this. There is a Hampton. Maybe in Hampton I will find something. I think there was a post like this. Let me search for it. Yeah, there was something really similar. It's not quite the same thing, but it gives me the general idea for the second arm, for the left arm, and some ideas for the right arm. So as you can see, reading books is beneficial. Who would have guessed? So I've completely forgot about the collarbone geometry. So it will go a little bit more like this. The chesticle will go like this. Deltoid will go to the collarbone. And the pectoral muscle will go like this. It will go a little bit from like the below part, because we are seeing his chest from below. So it will need to like wrap around everything. And there is this area, and there is this like cool looking sometimes muscle in here. Yeah, so basically back will look a little bit more like this. Then in here you would have like the serratus anterior, I guess. Then this extremely tricky part where it kind of like hides under the latissimus dorsi. Now I can flex my anatomy knowledge, like the naming and everything, because I don't know how to draw them, but I know how to pronounce it or how to call them. And in here I will have a bicep. And then someone will come and tell me like, what the fuck, you drew everything incorrectly. Give me that. You should not draw. And a bicep, and a brachyradialis, and more bicep. Oh, yeah. Especially if you have like, also coming back a little bit more to the topic of focal point, if you just want to spend holidays in a cool manner, so just hang out with other artists, just draw a lot, because it's like a cool thing to do on holidays. Totally go for it. It will be really worth it. Still to this day, I strongly believe the best holidays I have ever had were at Domin school, where I was learning how to draw in the high school, when I went to the event called 50 Taki, which basically means 50s people in for 50s guys, something like this. I don't have the slightest clue how to like translate it. The basic idea was you get 50 topics, you have to do them all. So basically you need to like make 50 drawings, and if you do, again, I was on the first edition, so it was like not really like established already, but if you manage to do all the topics and everything, then the course is entirely for free, which basically means if you draw a lot, you will get a free course, which basically means you will get a free knowledge, and it's really worth it. And on this course, I was sleeping on the ground for like 40 days in the workshop actually, and I still believe it was one of the best holidays that I have ever had. And also, I have met like tons of great people in there. Many of them are like still my friends. We still like keep contact, and we see each other from time to time. And also in those course, a guy who was like lead artist in the course, it was Michał Sztuka. To this day, he is one of my best friends. So, like, I learned a lot. I met many great artists, and I got a best friend, which is beautiful. It's a really beautiful story. Also a trick, if you want something to appear bigger, make the head smaller and make the horns bigger. And if the angles do not match, just use warp. This is like the biggest advantage the Photoshop has over traditional media. So you can select something and you can warp it, and everything is fine and dandy. I kinda don't like the fact that he's not angry enough. He should be angrier. And he should have a bit more like evil look in his eyes. Should be like really determined to kill you. Now I like it a bit more. I also want to give him some like facial horns. Oh, give a facial to my demon. Which is an inside joke. Phrasing, as would Archer said, as Archer would say, I guess. This one should be bigger and a little bit more up top. And some wrinkles around the neck. And this cool muscle that is connecting like the neck to the head and to the collarbone. Stay a while and listen. And exactly this sound means that most likely someone have subscribed, and I thought I turned... Stay a while and listen. Yeah, and I thought I have turned off those sounds. So I have no idea if anyone is like, if someone subscribed, thanks. If someone is trolling me right now, because I know it can be done, then no thanks. But later I will verify it. So can I just turn this on? Let me test the widget. Yeah, as you can see, it should appear on the screen. So basically, even though I have turned this off, it's still working. So I might as well turn it on, and it will visually show you a small Descartes cane. I have no idea if it was visible even for you. I'm not really that good with streaming and Twitch and everything, so if anyone is watching, let me know if it was actually visible. So I would at least know that it does make sense that I turned it off, turn it on. And do you think that going to focal point can be as beneficial as going to any or not? This is a hard question, because I would say, as beneficial. Honestly, no, but let me explain why. In the uni, especially, for example, I went to industrial design courses at Academy of Fine Arts. It is 5 years of designing things that you do not necessarily want to design, which is a huge part I would say, for developing as an artist or as a designer, because for a really long period of time I was designing stuff that I do not necessarily found interesting, but because of this it was extremely challenging to actually design them. So because of this, I would say I really developed the skills to pretty much like tackle every single thing that you will like throw at me with, like, that is kind of like design related. Because like after designing a chocolate, or like the small car that you bump to each other, or some like toilets for some naval ships and everything, basically nothing scares me anymore. So the time difference is a huge difference. If, for example, the focal point would like last for 5 years, then most likely, yeah, then it, of course, you will learn like dozens more. But also not really, because there are only like Michał and Darek at the moment on focal point. So like they have their knowledge, and there's a limit to what they know and what they can like teach you. And at like let's say at Academy of Fine Arts, you have like, you will meet like 20 different professors and everything, and you will learn much more different ways and different approaches and everything. So the amount of different approaches like itself is like huge thing that most likely will change your like experience and everything. But from like the industry wise, I wouldn't say necessarily I learned a lot how to work in the industry at the Academy of Fine Arts, or at least I didn't think I learned it. Because, as I said, my knowledge was not really verified by the industry standards, and when I went to the course, it really verified the fact that the knowledge that I got at uni was basically the same knowledge, just applied on a different topics. So to answer as beneficial, yes and no. It's hard to say that it is as beneficial as not. But also the huge other thing is, even if you will go to like the shittest school ever, like if you will somehow end up in like a really bad school, it can happen, like stuff like this happen all the time, you still can learn something. It will be much harder, like it will be like 10 times harder to learn something if the environment is like not really supporting the idea of learning, but you still will be able to learn some things. So I would say for the gaming industry, most likely you should go to the focal point, but remember this is only like 6 or 8 weeks. There is like a bit more if you are going to, for example, study at Academy of Fine Arts. Like the spectrum is a bit bigger. But yeah, this is pretty much what I do have to say about it. It can be as beneficial, but yeah. Actually, Darek finished the same school as I did, Academy of Fine Arts, but he finished painting courses, I guess. I'm not sure. And as far as I know, he really strongly not recommended them. I do not know if he still like holds to what he said back then about these courses being just meh, just decent. I don't know what is his opinion on the topic at the moment, but back then he was not really like, oh, you should definitely go study like painting. Like this will be a life changer for you. As far as I know, it is not the fact. Actually, when we also had some classes with the painters and everything, these were actually the most deorganized classes I have ever attended to. And also in, at least in Gdańsk, on painting classes, they do not really believe into digital art being an art. So also there is this problem. In industrial design, they like do not care what you are using as long as you are able to design something. But if you want to be like a fully fledged artist in digital medias, it will be really hard for you to actually do those stuff at the university if you will go to courses like painting. There's a lot of like really old folks teaching there, and it's really hard to sometimes convince them that there's no magic button in Photoshop that basically does everything for you, which still many artists don't seem to understand there. I think I said something wrong. The basic idea is industrial design and interior design is fine if you are going to go into the entertainment industry. I need to search for a reference for one muscle on a leg, so I kinda want to go. Yeah, let me just open big rummy legs. The fun fact part is like those guys do not necessarily have like the smaller legs than the demons do have. So like there are crazy bodybuilders out there that would really outclass even the biggest demons. What I wanted to get is like the bend of this muscle and this area, because in here there is this like strange looking tendon. And I kind of wanted to like see it because this muscle actually connects to the pelvic area. Yeah, with anatomy of the legs, I am always like, what am I doing? Leg anatomy is a complete madness for me. My brain cannot process it properly. Like, shit's too hard. So I will just like do some lines that look that I know what I am doing, and later I will hope that nobody will like ask about the leg anatomy. This is how you approach lack of knowledge. You pretend you do have knowledge. A hoof. Let me see how hoofs look like. Hoof. Really funny word, hoof. There is the more you know. Yeah, this is how many muscles do horse have? None. Zero muscle on top of zero muscle. But the cool part is this stuff. I don't know if it should actually like be in here. It looks weird. I want it to be thicker in here. Yeah, the hoof reference is not really telling me much. How do you even grow this big? I really need to study. I need to ask some friends how they draw like legs like this. This pose is so, it always gives me so many troubles to draw something to look decent. Bring up this area. Let me actually give him like a calves in here, or something that resemble calves. And let me just whoosh this a bit more to the back. Let me just whoosh the knee over the front frontal part. Yeah. This is the day where I lost control over the drawing. The part where I lost control. From the side, it's a bit more obvious, I would say, how to draw it, because like you can much clearer, much more clearly see what is going on, and you can like draw this teardrop muscle much easier, and the quad muscle in here, it's much easier to draw, and the back quad muscle is also much easier to draw. So yeah, drawing actually like from a side is much more pleasant than from the front. It's much easier for me to understand the geometry of what the fuck is going on in here. And also with stuff like this, note that I am not really like closing in while drawing. Yeah, this is actually unfair. Drawing this legs is much easier. The frontal leg is really hard. And it looks retarded now. What is going on? I don't really like the pose of this guy anymore. I feel like... Nah, I feel like he needs to go a bit more like this with the entire body, but it might be just this leg is playing tricks on me. Maybe this legs need to go like here. Also, these guys have like pretty serious tails, or at least I think they do. I would hate it if they don't, but the head is still way too big. Yeah, now it's a bit more proper in size. This area needs to be adjusted. A bit smaller lats in here. This area needs to be adjusted. Yeah, but also the bottom part. Well, like as I said, with every single school, if you are willing to learn something, then you will learn it. It's like the environment can only make it easier for you. It's also not like the fact set in stone that if you go to a certain school, you will like learn everything and whatnot, that you will be the best. If you don't put your work in, then no, it does not really matter to what school you went to. If the work is not there, the effects also won't be there. So in the end, this is what is important. But there are some artists who finished like the lawyer schools and everything. I don't want to like say who did it, but there is like a really famous artist. I don't know why I think it was a Greg Rutkowski, but I am not really sure if it was a case, if I am not lying, so just don't believe me right now. I will need to check this like information, but I believe it was Greg or Igor Kirilluk, maybe, I have no idea. I will check like in a minute. That finished the lawyer college or something like this. They are like lawyers from the occupation, or there could be lawyers, and they are artists. So I don't remember the name, but I remember I have stumbled upon someone like this to actually be a case. So yeah, if you are willing to do it, you can do it no matter what. Just I can imagine studying art actually will be a bit easier for you to develop as an artist, instead of like if you will be studying medicine or something like this, because you will simply be able to draw a bit more if you are studying art, or most likely you should be drawing a bit more. Yeah, I'm kind of like now trying to brute force the pose. I don't really feel this hand. I think this guy should have like much thicker and 4 fingers. Thicker 4 fingers do look better on demons. I also have a theory that many demons should have 4 fingers actually, not because it looks cool, but because a lot of demons are just dumb. And if you are dumb, you do not you don't have a lot of processing power in your head. And if you don't have a lot of processing power in your head, then you don't really need 5 fingers to like make really complex movement. You just need to be able to grab something. And if you're like a stupid demon, then actually having 4 fingers is like it might be a justified design decision for you to include in your design. Like one might ask, why does this demon have like 4 fingers? And you will be like, because he's stupid. Like if he would have 5 fingers, he won't be able to like move them because the only thing he's good at is actually killing. And I don't mean people who were born with 4 fingers are stupid. This is not what I said. I mean from the design point of view, it makes sense. To actually make this guy look that it is placed in the perspective, it will be a bit of a challenge. Slightly bigger is fine. And since I see it from this way, in here I will see some thickness, yeah? Nah. Where I will see thickness, wait. This is the direction of the axe. Will I see thickness in here? No. But to overlap it a bit more, I will make the axe actually cover some of the fingers. So visually it will suggest that the hand is between the blade and everything. There's the back. There's the back. Also, what I'm doing right now is kind of like trying. What is this line was supposed to be? I'm not entirely sure about like this huge trap muscle. I think it's a bit too big even for this guy. That the entire arm should be more like here. Then the obliques would happen in here. I don't really like the blocky midsection. It should be more like whoosh, more like twisted a bit. Do I like it now? I like it a bit more now. This leg, man, what it is with this leg? Okay, so let me process it. This geometry in here, we have a knee. Now we have like a huge circle in here and a smaller circle in here. It will look like this, more or less. A bit more to the knee. And then we have like a cylinder in here, right? And then we have like this thinner part in here that is basically going straight, right? And then we have like this line, and then we have a hoof, right? It looks extremely dumb. What even is wrong with this leg? I have no idea. This leg needs to go a little bit more like this. I will need to search for some references how other artists drew this leg, because I have no fucking clue what is wrong with it. Should it be bigger? Like, wait, if he's... Wait, should the entire thing... Should the entire front... This leg... Will it be in front? No. Nah. Let me warp it. Maybe warping it. Like, warping the shit out of it. Nah. Oh boy. Bringing this thing up. Making the entire leg a bit more... At the moment, it will look like this. I have no idea what is wrong with these legs. I would need to study this topic a bit more. This leg is depressing. This axe to have like this chain on it. Might be a bit thick of a chain, but oh, it is way too thick. Hello, coffee. Ah, quite well. I finished the work for today almost. And now trying to draw a demon. And his second leg is killing me. I have no idea how to draw this second leg. I don't know with what is going on with this geometry. I guess soon I will prepare like a 3D model for it. Because when I was starting this challenge, I wanted to keep every single drawing in like under an hour. Now I am like trying for like 30 minutes to draw a leg. So yeah. The leg is annoying. And thanks for the part on a handsome. You are flattering me. Whoops. Maybe I will leave it like this. It opens up the opportunity for likes. Maybe people will actually like sympathize with disabled demon. Maybe this is like a vert in its final form. This is the vert's leg. It opens portal to hell. Not really the perspective, you know. The perspective is not that big of a deal. The deal is the anatomy again. Hard. So yeah. Like I feel I have a bit of a better grasp on it, but this leg, I don't know. I don't know what it is with these double jointed legs, but there is something with them that melts my brain completely. I have no idea what causes it, but if there's like a double jointed leg, my brain shuts down completely. I do not understand how they behave and why they behave this way, even though I do understand the geometry of them. but it just don't look right. I have a really hard time putting in perspective what does not look right with them. Coffee. Yeah, coffee. Beware. Someone is going to drop you. Nicholas is going to drop you. So take your guard. Go a little bit more like this. I guess I will have to ask some friends later to make an overpaint, like whoosh, magic spell. What the fuck is wrong with it? And today we lost a viewer. Nicholas drank him. God damn you, Nicholas. How could you? I don't have a lot of viewers. Why are you doing this to me? So basically what I also wanted for this guy to be like a clean line art turned out to be a bit more complex sketch. So later I will have to like revisit it and to make another pass for a line art to make it clean. I think I will spend like a bit more drawing this demon than I initially anticipated. I guess this one will be like the breakthrough demon, the one that will like take me 10 hours to finish. I kind of feel like I want to really push the skills with this guy a bit more to the next level. So maybe I will like spend a bit more time on him. Since if I will spend like 5 hours rendering this godforsaken leg, then I will remember this shape like forever. So then I will force my brain to process it properly. So maybe this is the way how to approach this mofo. And the wings is the other topic that I really need to study. I always say a lot about the wings and everything, but I never studied this topic as much as I wish I would. Because if you can make a nice wing, then every single design will be much better. The good shape of a wing can mean like night and day for a design sometimes. Let me just connect it and add a small hook in here. I mean, to be honest, spending 10 hours on something is not a long time. Usually I spend much less time on the drawings and everything. But now, for some commissions that I have done and everything, I don't know, but you can like count it, I believe, in days or the hours spent on like one thing. That is just like a revision, revision of a revision, another revision. And after some time you are like, nah, okay. I'm not even counting the time because like it serves no purpose at all. Yeah, so this is a sketch 2.0, And later I know where I will find a good reference for the leg. I will go for some beastmans from Warhammer. The beastmans have double jointed legs. They will be the MVP that will allow me to. It's not doing it fast. It's not carrying. This looks like shit. It is like lower in the quality than a sketch should be. But I just want to get the general idea of the shape. I'm not really focusing on it. Naimul really did a nice wing when we were like drawing together, because we were drawing like a snow witch, I believe, and he really made a nice looking wing. Maybe wings, demon, Warhammer. Let me steal some ideas. Yeah, and this is exactly what I am talking about. When I am looking at some demons, this is the coolest. Lord of Malice is one of the coolest minis I have ever seen, and it is extremely, actually, really close to this guy. But look how fucking cool this miniature is, and this is what I am talking about. This is how this demon should look like. If every single, okay, maybe it will be a little bit more too over the top. Maybe a little bit less details should be used. But look how fucking cool this wing looks like, and it's not even a hard geometry. It's like a line, poof, arches. That's all. But it looks cool. But where is some cool winged demon? I forgot the wings need joints. This is what I forgot. This is what I always forget about the wings. It's not the straight lines. It's not the straight arches. This is what I always forget about the wings. Begone wing. This should be like boom, bone. Boom, bone. And bigger one, boom, bone. Or at least something bony. And then this one can go straight, boom, bone. Or it should be slightly, where? It be slightly rotated. Boom, bone, and boom, bone. It will go in here, and it will also show much more nicer through the body. Because it will go like this. And the second one will go boom, bone, and it will be a bit longer, boom, bone, and spike on the end. And since this guy is nowhere near being able to fly, okay, boom, bone, so like a joint. Now it makes sense. Now it makes sense. So yeah, my mother just entered the room. She forgot that I am streaming. And yeah, and this is the wing. Now I feel like it completely does not fit the character, but it looks better as a wing, which is an upgrade. I will just go with something like this. I will do something that is illegal. Let me just warp this bad boy to the other side. Like this. And then like this. And let me remove the previous wing. I stopped seeing. What is going on in here? Uh, Might be, but to be honest, in terms of math and physics and everything, I'm complete and utter shit in them. I like math, but I hate learning math. This was my also this was like the main reason why I dropped out of the architectural course. I hated learning math. It is extremely boring, but I like math. This is the funny part. I really enjoy like watching people. I like doing math. I enjoy all the mathematical like equations and everything, like the intricacies of them. I don't know if this is like even a word, the intricacies and everything. But if I have to learn math, I am it is a huge no-no for me. Most likely I would say not a calculus math, because like my background in drawing is really heavily technical. Like I was mostly learning technical part of a drawing, like the geometry, perspective and everything. So most likely I would say I am able to track down where I do have a problem. And since I also have been like teaching for like 7 years now, or 8 years now, I guess 7, uh, I if I want, like even if I did not want to do it, I had to learn how to pinpoint, how to find mistakes and errors, so where the problem is. So I would say the kind of teacher experience comes in handy with dealing stuff with this, with dealing with stuff like this. And because like if I know how to search for an error in someone else's works, I should be able to do the same in my own work. I don't like those wings, but I feel they are much better now. But by any chance, I am not happy with them. Add like a spike in here, so there will be like some overlapping occurring. Overlapping is always fun when it occurs. At the moment, I don't even like the face anymore. It should be a bit more animalistic. Maybe a bit smaller nose. With the stronger bones on the face. I kind of want him to like really feral. I feel there is still too much intelligence left in this one. I want him to just be like aggressive. That kind of show that there's like not a single thought goes through his head. Like this here purely to kill stuff. He is the anger. To achieve this, you need bigger fangs. And a bit stronger jawline. And the hardest part, the face, the eyes. Hello, Xirtam, Zirtam. I don't know how to read it. Zirtam feels a little bit more like magic also. Might be Zirtam. Oh, also an emotion kind of like this is kind of cool. And he has like this even a sad look on him, where he has the where when you have the eye, but it's like kind of hidden in the flaps of the forehead. I like it. It's not necessarily the most obvious emotion on the face of a demon. So he will kind of have like this dumb zombie-like look to his face. Like this mindless, just roaring emotion. Even slightly worried. I definitely like the face a bit more now. This fang needs to be bigger. This one needs to be darker. The eye needs to be a bit more in here. And the entire head needs to be a bit thicker. The entire like forehead area needs to be a bit bigger. Like the flap. The bony stuff is really visible. Maybe I will even give him some horns. Yeah, I like the small horns on the skin. Especially with the details like small horns, it's a cool way to kind of break the silhouette. So for example, if you are having like a really long strap, as he does in here, maybe just add some horns to it. Kind of like break the silhouette a bit. So it's not like necessarily a straight line. It's a bit more of like the bit. Something is happening in here, in the area that is not really famous for having a lot of stuff happening in there. Yeah, and now let me go for this second leg. So, how do you make Warhammer people? That's cool. Work. Yeah, I mean, being an artist is a nice thing because when I am working, I'm drawing monsters. When I am not working, I'm drawing monsters. I have fun while doing it. So I have a hard time imagining a better job, to be honest. It's really hard for me to imagine a better job. This one has a really cool pose. Whoops. Sorry for that. It's not necessarily the same pose, but I like... This will also actually be a really cool pose for this guy. Let me try it. We will see what happens. Like the stomach area and everything is relatively similar. Yeah, I mean, there are ups and downs and everything, but in the end, I really try to keep my head, keep positive attitude, even if I don't like a certain commission, because there's no way you will always love what you are doing. Sometimes you just will get a commission that you don't like, and that's pretty much life. I always try to keep like a positive type of a thinking for it. Yeah, I mean, I am relatively new to streaming because, like, I do have a YouTube channel and yada yada and everything, and I do stream. I would say it was at the beginning kind of to like make a following and everything, to sell tutorials and stuff, but then I was like, okay, like if I will going to do this only for the money, then like it does not really matter that much. So I will just continue because I like actually enjoyed it much more than I thought I will. And in the meanwhile, I found like a stable job, hopefully. So now I just do it because I like it. And as I said, it kind of motivates me to draw because like it keeps the thing fresh. Also, I like to talk. I really like to talk. Usually I am the one who talks a lot. And if I can like combine those two things together, then only fact that I managed to make the leg look okay-ish. Did I just impressed myself finally with the double jointed leg? I think it looks fine. I just don't like this huge ass that he has right now. He's way too thick in the ass area. What do I do? Yeah, he needs to be thinner. Like, he had this humongous ass. Yeah, that's right. Especially if there are like cool questions. Like, I like answering questions and everything. And if I can help someone by doing so, it's like even more fun. Because I know, like when I was like a total beginner and everything, I always wanted to ask some questions to the streamers, but it always felt kind of awkward to do so because I was like, how the fuck am I going to talk with them? They are so good and everything. Yeah, that's right. I stopped thinking. I stopped overthinking it. This is like a key to success usually. If you stop thinking and you just keep doing stuff, it will happen and it will look okay. That's right. But also I just got a really cool looking reference in here with a really cool mouth and head and everything in here with a little bit less cool hand. But yeah, nonetheless, this thing is really helpful. I even think if I maybe would like to just try it. Nah. Maybe? Nah. Whoops. Yeah, but I mean, when I was like starting to do art, I always wanted to ask a lot of questions, and like this 10 years ago, 11 years ago, there were not so many streams, like art streams and everything. And then I found some, I watched some, I made some connections and everything. But yeah, and now I felt like, okay, maybe I will not be like the best channel to actually learn stuff from, so I won't be like the teacher that I will teach you how to draw stuff. But the idea for this channel always was to just have a company while you are drawing. So for example, if you are like sitting on your ass in your home and you are going to draw something, and maybe you just like to have someone talking in the background. If I ever had an idea for a channel, this is the idea. So someone who is just to like be a company to someone. So yeah. Because for example, I hate working when it's like quiet. When it is quiet, I cannot focus. Blast some like dark black metal music in the background and I will be focused like as never. So yeah, like I like noisy environments and I hate quiet environments. That's why I pretty much never sat in a library. Sitting in a library in total quiet is like a torture for me. Sometimes, okay, sometimes I like to be in quiet, but not really. Even if, when I'm hungover and when I'm just ill or whatever, when I just feel not well, usually I prefer to listen to music. So yeah, I know I can. I know I can, Nicholas. I know I can. And thanks for reminding me of that. But always when I finally like want to join, I forget about it, and I always put some stuff to do otherwise. But yeah, one day I will finally do this. And also a cool thing, if you don't know how to draw something, just cover it. This is like the best tip I can give you. If you don't know how to draw, like poof, tail, it's hidden. If it's hidden, it means it's not a problem anymore. Let me see. Yeah, I can understand like streaming while you are actually making some like cybersecurity stuff might not be the best idea actually. I can imagine how it might bring some problems to the things that you are working on. Yeah. Thanks a lot, Xintam. It's Xirtam? Zirtam? How should I read it? Like Zirtam or Xirtham? The first one or the second one is proper. Oh, okay. The second one under. Okay. Shit, I forgot what was the first one. Zirtam. Oh, okay. Okay, that explains everything. I really liked how do you speak French? There is this really cool meme. How do you speak French? Meme. Let me. Oh yeah. How to explain French to someone? It's Spanish, but you speak it in cursive. You have 11 letters. You pronounce 4 of them. Learn to speak Spanish. Learn to speak Italian. Subtract Spanish from Italian. You left with French. Latin, but make it fashion. Gargling, but with air. This is one of my favorite memes ever. But yeah, from France, the best thing from France that I know, that I am aware of, that I really like is Gojira. This band is madness. It's like one of the best bands ever out there. There's hardly anything that come close to Gojira. Gojira, it's a metal band. I really recommend it. Arzea. Yeah, it's kind of funny because if someone is from like this is a world famous base, and thanks Harzea, this is a world famous band, and it's kind of funny when someone is from a country where something is like extremely famous on the entire world, they are usually like, well, I don't know it. So this is like a typical thing. It always happened to me when, for example, I'm in the town or something like this, and someone like a tourist comes along and he shows me some pictures and how to get there, and then I'm like you are sure it is in this city? Like I know every single place in this city, but it's not like this is not the city. Yeah, and he shows me the location and he just asks for the directions, and I'm then like, damn, I do not know my city then. Yeah, but you should definitely listen to Gojira if you like metal music. Even if you don't like metal music, they just make great music, and they start stage performance is extremely good. It's like really good. They honestly, when I was at their concert, I can easily say the live concert was much better than the recordings. They sing better than on the recordings live. They play better than on the recordings. Basically everything is better about them live than it is on the recording. So even if you will find some like live concert recordings, honestly I would even go with this. And also they have really cool videos, because I strongly believe that her sister is like taking care of the recordings. Like the entire family of them is really like artistic. And they really have like huge value. Oh no, coffee I can flex. Wait. This is the biggest flex I will do on the stream, but back in the days, Gojira, like the Where Dragons Dwell was my favorite song, and I drew them a dragon with the Where Dragons Dwell, and I went to basically to the concert with like this B2 50.70 block of paper, and I were like, okay, give them that, and here are the prints, make them sign them to me. So webs, I hope I won't break it. It is signed, and here is the ticket. So this is the biggest flex that I can do with the Jira. And after like 2 years or something like this, yeah, things hit them. And after like a year after this happened, someone approached me and was like, yeah, sure, this is even original, like what are the chances? And then I looked up to their signatures and everything, and these are their signatures. So yeah, I was lucky, and it was also at the same holidays when I was at this 50 days of drawing event. So like best holidays ever, as I said. And they actually they were in Poland several times, so yeah. But to be honest, I went to like a guarded place with like this huge ass drawing, as I said, and I was like, hello security, please let me pass because I have a drawing for them. And they were like, who are you? And I was like, I like Gojira. I did a drawing for them. And they were like, okay, you don't want to kill them? Like there's no bomb or poison or anything? I was like, no. And they called the manager. The manager came. He took a drawing. He double checked it with security if everything is fine with it. He went missing for like 40 minutes, and then he came back with the signatures and everything. And I was like, yeah. I really wonder if they do have this drawing somewhere. To be honest, the concert maybe was not the biggest one, but I was the only one with the drawing. I can imagine they get quite a lot of drawings and everything on concerts and everything, but I do really wonder if they still have the drawing, if they maybe hung it somewhere, or if they just threw it to the trash can. I don't know. I wonder what happened with this piece of paper. So yeah. No, but if you are like playing a concert, there is a security. Like you never know who will like come, and basically you need to have like some security on stage, and all of a sudden you have like this skinny guy with long hair coming with like, cannot see my hands, but the okay, let me show you the other thing. You have like something like this, like that, and the box, like the file that I had in the drawing in was like twice as big as this one. So yeah, basically I went with like a meter of a black stuff with a like this giant box with a drawing inside of this. So I don't like, I would be surprised if they would just let me pass with it without any problems whatsoever. Especially since the day previously, they were doing the like make a photo with me, say we will sign some stuff for you and everything, and I completely missed it. I had no idea they were doing something like this. So it was even more suspicious that a day after someone comes with like a drawing to be signed, when the day before was the event to sign stuff. And I even don't know if they ever saw the drawing. Maybe the manager just took it and just signed it by himself, found the signatures online and just copied them. I don't know, but I don't really care that much. I can flex with it, so it's cool. Yeah, but recently a friend of mine, like the internet friend from Facebook and everything, that is also in the industry, Raid Southern, did the biggest flex ever, because like this is the flex he did is actually impossible to beat, because friend of his is a makeup artist, as VFX artist or something like this, and once I guess I think it was a she was a she, made molds out of his fingers, and the molds were just for like some sort of a movie or something like this. So basically they cut like fingers in a movie, and it was his fingers that were like portraying the cut fingers, and later his fingers ended up being on Eminem's video, and the cut fingers of Eminem on a piano are fingers of Raid Southern, which is really fucking cool. And it's really hard to top that, because this is like a god level flex. You can say like Eminem has your fingers, or your fingers are like in a sense Eminem's fingers. So yeah, it's kind of funny. And yeah, I mean, especially since I was also with the drawing, I was not really like, I mean, the fact that I looked like shitless scared when like this huge guy from the security came to like ask questions like what it is, and the fact that I had to look like I am pissing my pants because this guy was terrifying. I still remember him. It kind of worked to my favor that they did not tell me like, okay, get away with it, or that they were just nice and trying to be helpful. So yeah. Then I will be suspicious. Like I was suspicious at some point when they were like asking questions like, what have you done? Like, what is this drink? I was like, oh, I tried to poison them. Yeah. Yeah, like I said, Raid Southern, I don't know how to pronounce it, currently has the biggest flex I have heard this year. This is like the toppest of tops of the flexes. Like you can go to anyone and say like Eminem's fingers are my fingers. Nobody will understand you, but you will know. Everybody will remember you. Arnold Bocklin. I heard the name. I have no idea what he does. In terms of names and artists, especially the classical ones, my knowledge is really limited, but go on. At some point I will know someone, and at some point I will actually know their artworks. Or I guess I will. But I am a strong believer of Google and just like having the idea something exists, instead of like trying to remember everything like in my mind. Yeah, it's kind of funny because I guess you are like the third or the fourth person that found my channel through 9gag. I do have an account on 9gag. I actually have been there for like 3000 days already or something like this. I have like this Marshall something badge in there. But I never posted any art on there, and I only once have seen my painting. Someone was pretending to be me, and it got removed. So this is like the only time when I actually was in 9gag. The head is still too big. Yeah, no problem. A friend of mine had his fingers molded. Basically, someone made a cast out of their fingers for a video. So in the video, someone, like some actor, lost fingers, and it was his fingers to play the cut fingers. And later, the same fingers ended up on Eminem's video. But yeah, was the sun? No. The pretending of being me was not really scary, because like just someone posted my art and typed like, I drew this, what do you think? And it was like a fake account, so it was like not me actually asking the question. So it's like, meh, shits like this happen all the time. Wait, fake fingers, let me quote fingers piano. There is, I will find the post, wait. Raid Southern. Okay. So basically, for everybody who would like to read the story, because it's a really nice story, here is this post. And actually check out Ray Southern artworks. They're really cool. I really like how he works. But the basic idea is like, yeah, it's in here. So cast of his thumbs for a movie, someone got them chopped off, and he just found out they ended up in an Eminem video on a piano. So the more you know, and this is the biggest flex you can have. So yeah, it's funny. But also, yeah, check out the Raid Sultan works. Actually, he also has a YouTube channel, and I don't know if he still does any videos, but there are a lot of cool tips on his YouTube channel. So I learned a lot back in the days from his videos, because he really nicely explains some things. He's a matte painter, I guess, or at least he used to be a matte painter. I don't know what he does now, since like we are friends on the internet. Like I am aware of his existence. Maybe he's aware of my existence. I don't know, but yeah, this is the basic idea. I still don't like the face. I think the level of angriness needs to be there anyway. It's Raid Southern. He has a friend that did a molds, and he posted a story that the fingers ended up there. I'm just sharing a story. Like I know Red Southern because I follow his artworks for like many years now, and that's pretty much all my connections to him. And I like talked to him like in some comments twice, maybe, or maybe 3 times or something like this. I'm just like sharing a funny story. Sometimes it's always kind of hard for me to explain what I mean, because also like English is not my native language. And also this is like one of the reasons why I started the channel, because I wanted to learn how to speak in English like more frequently and everything. So yeah. Why is that? For me, it was like I was doing some stuff and I wanted to make everything in Blender, and I were like, okay, I will do everything in 3D. They will be impressed. after like a month of trying to do this stuff in 3D, I realized, okay, I will just draw it. Like, fuck 3D. It's easier to draw it. Yeah, also the thing is that when I am actually listening to some channels, I much more prefer to listen to channels that don't have native speakers, because I understand them much better, because they speak this broken English as I do. And it's easier for me to understand sometimes someone who is like speaking this broken English in a sense. Well, yeah. With English is just like watch 5 movies without subtitles, read a book, boom, you know English language. Like it's nothing that is extremely complex or hard. I remember the first movie that I have ever seen without subtitles was a parody of Twilight. It was like vampires something. I don't remember the name. In Polish it was Vampir to Świr, and Świr is a crazy person. It was like something like this. Yeah, but in my case, I am mostly reading articles on the web, and for the books, I mostly, basically always read in Polish language, because, yeah, just because. But there is a series of Malazan Book of the Fallen by Steven Erikson and the Black Company by Glenn Cook that I really want to order one day in like original language to just read it in the original, because these books are great and I can imagine how much things got lost in translation. Yeah, Nicholas, but the fact is, when we met, we could drink a bottle of vodka, and then I could speak Polish, you could speak German, and we will still understand each other. So, but yeah, thanks. The fact that I'm basically talking each week and I have to write in English and everything, it's like, it's enough. Yeah, I'm from Poland. From Gdańsk, from the north of Poland. I am from Poland. No, nie, jeszcze nie. Co? Nie wiem, za pół godziny? No nie, nie mogę. Yeah. I will have to wrap up the stream soon. So yeah. Yeah. Grandmother leads the war. Yeah. Yeah, actually a lot of people have like a lot of connections in Poland. Like especially after the war. Like pretty much I can imagine every single like country that was really heavily affected by the Second World War has someone in their family who is from Poland or is somehow related to Poland. But yeah. Okay, I guess for today it will be all. I will just finish some like things on the axe to make it a bit thicker in here. And I will wrap this one up. And I will continue most likely on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. So yeah, some lines to kind of like suggest the direction of the axe. My name is Polish. What's your name is? Then mine is Eric. I guess it's a German name. On Wednesday. So yeah. Now the only thing that I need to make is nice. Yeah, it's like a really a lot of people have actually a Polish surname, especially in like in US. A lot of people have like Polish, yeah, and everything. Yeah, okay, so for today I will wrap this one up. Next one will be on Wednesday, so thanks anyone for watching and everything. And yeah, I will see you next time, so let me turn off everything, every reference that I do have, so we could see how it looks like. Yeah, this is the drawing. I need to adjust stomach area a bit and like give it a little bit more like flow. So I will like mark it like this. Yeah, so I will remember to do it. Yeah, so basically, thanks for watching and goodbye to the next time.